Hi guys, and welcome to my first YouTube video ever. So I'm so excited to be here, and I'm really just looking forward to sharing and seeing what people think, and yeah, I can't wait to go on this journey. So today I wanted to talk about healing your relationship with the mind and really concentrating on self-talk and showing how important self-talk is. So I've been on quite a journey with this for the last, I'd say a few years, but in the last year I've really noticed differences and a lot of improvements, which is lovely to see. So I really want to share a few things that have helped me and the process which I went through, so maybe it'll help someone else. So basically I have had anxiety for a few years now. Some patterns even went back to like 10 years ago, so it's a bit crazy, but it's been really bad in the last few years, and that's really forced me to look at my self-talk and look at my mind and really get to know every bit of what's going on, and it's helped me so much now being able to look back and seeing how far I've come. But at the start it was really hard, and I'm going to share a bit about my journey with it, but I really think that this is relevant to everyone. I think we could all do with being more gentle with ourselves, with our self-talk, and giving ourselves more love in our minds, which translates to just general self-love. So for me, with my anxiety, I have always been a really, really analytical, self-critical person. So I would always analyse everything that I did, externally but also internally. So I'd analyse my thoughts, my mind, like why have I got that thought, what's happening, and I'd come to conclusions based on this self-analysis, and it became just so exhausting, like every second analysing, why am I thinking this, there's something wrong with you, all of these things. And I even have experienced a lot of intrusive thoughts, which you can look up. It's a lot of people that have anxiety go through it, and you just get random thoughts that can really seem quite disturbing or frustrating, and just you don't know where they've come from, and you end up just judging yourself as if there's something wrong with you, or I thought I was going crazy at one point. And so it's really made me have to understand my thoughts, what my thoughts mean, or really what they don't mean. So basically, when I had these thoughts, or if I had a weird thought in the day, I would just go crazy in my mind and be like, what are you doing? Why are you having this thought? There's something wrong with you. This is not normal. You're really weird, like all of these things. And if you think about it, if you're saying that to yourself day in, day out, nearly all day, it's going to drain you, and it's not how are you meant to love yourself and believe in yourself when you've got all of these thoughts going on that you're taking to be true? So through therapy, which really, really helped me in the last year, but also through practicing it in my everyday life, I learnt to approach my mind and my thoughts in a completely different way, which allowed me to have peace with whatever comes into my mind. Obviously it's still a work in progress, and there's definitely days when I don't manage it, but there are also days when I do. And if you told me that a few years ago, I would have never ever believed you. So here are some steps that you can do to help your relationship with your mind and with your thoughts. So I think the first step that I went through, and I think you need to do in order to even know where to start with your mind and your self-talk, is to acknowledge and really see how your mind is talking to yourself. So sit with the thoughts that are coming up every day, and really notice whether they're negative or positive and what they make you feel about yourself. And I think no matter whether you've experienced anxiety or not, I think a lot of us talk very critically towards ourselves, and throughout the day, even if you just say something wrong at work, or you do something wrong that you perceive as wrong, your self-worth is affected by how you talk to yourself about it. So say I did something wrong at work and then I felt really bad about it, then I would have gone home and just overthought it for hours, thinking, oh my god, I'm the worst person ever, or why did I do that? Or if I went to a party and someone said something to me and I reacted in a certain way, I'd probably go back and think about that for ages too, and be like, oh, you're so weird, why'd you say that? And get really frustrated at myself. And I think we all do it in some form or another. So I think the first step of just acknowledging and watching your mind, just to gauge how negative you're being towards yourself, is a really crucial step, so that you know what you're working with. There's a book called The Untethered Soul, and Michael Singer, the guy who wrote it, talks about viewing your mind as a roommate. And so imagine that your mind right now, personify it into a roommate. And everything that your mind says throughout the day, your roommate is saying to you. So I think for most of us, if our roommate was saying the same things that our mind said to us every day, we would be so annoyed at this person. We would not like them at all. We would want them out of our lives. We'd say, I don't need you as a friend. You're not helping me in any way. And we'd say no thank you to them, basically. But we don't do that with our minds. We allow it to be there. We allow it to influence our decisions. We allow it to influence our self-worth and our self-beliefs. So creating that distance and seeing your mind as a separate entity that is not you really helped me to detach from what my mind was saying. And I think that's a really helpful little tool. If you're feeling overwhelmed by your thoughts, just put it into a person and imagine whether or not you would accept that from a friend or a roommate. And likelihood is you probably wouldn't. So once you've analysed and realised what your self-talk is like and what your thoughts are saying to you, and whether or not you take them on board, then I think the next step is to maybe realise that you do have control over how much you accept into your life and into your self-belief system, and that you can actually use your mind as a tool to bring positive things into your life. So if you think of your mind as a garden and you want flowers to grow there, you want it to be a beautiful space, a place that helps you, you wouldn't feed it with the worst fertilizer and put horrible things in it that would like some, don't know, worms that eat everything, or some things that just would not help it grow. You would use beautiful tools, you'd use the best ingredients to make sure that your garden was as good as it could be. So if you think of our words as the tools and things that you're planting in the garden, then you should really be giving yourself and feeding yourself the most nourishing words you can find. So a lot of self-love, a lot of things that help you accept yourself more, and things that will help you grow instead of inhibit you. So even, I know this can be a really hard step, because even with my own journey, when I first started being kind to myself and my mind, I didn't believe anything I was saying. But it doesn't matter. You just have to trust me that over time, with practice, you start to believe them and you start to see that they are true. Because you are an amazing person. Your value is not determined by the actions you did in the past or the way you were in the past. You can completely change yourself and get back to who you really are, which is every person in this world is a person that's got a lot of love in them naturally, but we've all become blocked. So in order for you to see that light within you again and accept yourself more, you're going to have to feed yourself the right things. So for me, this was a really amazing step. And as I say, at first I didn't accept any of the words I was telling myself. So if I said something like, after having a bad thought or after doing something that I thought I could have done better or said better, I started to say, it's okay, that's all right, I still love you and accept you. So if you say that to yourself, over time, you don't even have to actively try so hard to say those words, because acceptance becomes natural to you. So it is really a muscle that you have to use, and it gets stronger the more you use it. So that's my number 3. And lastly, I just wanted to say that your mind is always going to throw things at you, and your mind, if you watch it, it literally can say the most random things and the most opposite things. It can say one minute that you're amazing, then the next minute it can say you're the worst person ever. It's always going to chuck things at you. So just be okay with that and accept that if you resist what your mind is saying, you're going to create a lot more tension, and the thoughts are just going to get worse and bigger and more scary. So acceptance that your mind is the way it is, and we all have them. We all have the same kinds of minds, and all of our minds say crazy things, but that's not where you are, and that's not who you are. Your mind is something separate, and you don't need to attach to anything that your mind is saying. And it really does come with practice. I didn't believe any of this when I first started, but it's helped me so much, honestly. And I'm just a lot more peaceful with myself because I've found a stronger sense of me than just attaching it to my mind. So, oh yeah, and lastly, I wanted to say that there's this gorgeous mantra that I've used in the last year that's really helped me. And the mantra is, it's okay, I'm human. And this has helped me so much. I can't even describe how much it's helped, because when I was younger, I used to try, when I first read about all these self-help techniques and how to let go of bad thoughts or negative thoughts, I used to replace it with, it's okay, I'm still a good person, or it's okay, what I did wasn't that bad. But I was still placing myself on the scale of good to bad. And so you're constantly analysing yourself to see where you're at in that scale. Whereas if you approach it with, it's okay, I'm human, which is a very fully accepting statement, there is no scale. Whatever you do is okay. And it creates this gorgeous self-acceptance that is so expansive and has no limit, really. So working with that mantra really helps. So next time you're feeling overwhelmed by something you did, or you're annoyed at yourself, just take a deep breath and say, it's okay, I'm human, and see how it affects you. You might not believe it at first, but if you keep on going with it, I promise it'll get better. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'd love you to tell me what you want to see on this channel. So if you want to leave a comment or message me, then I'll be sure to take that into consideration. And I'm sending you so much love, and I hope this helps somebody. So yeah, have a beautiful day, everyone.